John used to come down to Sydney from Armidale for MTA meetings, and he used to call in and see Attila and I every so often. And then as years went on, I received a Christmas card from John, and which said my new address is, and at that time Attila had left and I was alone too, and so I sent a Christmas card back and said, guess what, Attila and I are no longer. So the next time he came down for an MTA meeting, he came to visit.
When I said, look, you know, I do have these dinners occasionally, and, you know, would you like to sort of stand in, because I don't have anybody, you know, and everybody else is carrying a wife along. And she said, oh yeah, I'll be in that, you know. So I picked her up, I think, at Sydney Airport, and we went down to Canberra for this thing.
He was talking about his children, I was speaking about mine, and he was speaking about Margaret, and of course Margaret was one of my best friends, and she passed away. And he knew Attila and liked Attila, so you know, we had a lot of common ground. So that was a good start to the relationship, really.
I think one of the motor doulas present made the comment that we should be married there and then, which was quite funny, sort of sprung us a bit, but anyway.
He kissed me on Engadine Station. He maintained I kissed him, and you know.
And we just sort of nested in together very, very quickly.
I sometimes call him sweetheart, which grates on him. He doesn't really like that.
Well, I affectionately call him Wombat. I think that's because she's cuddly.
We've been together for 12 years now, and John and I, our days together are travelling or house sitting properties. John likes to work on the properties, and I usually do the house cooking or the home cares. John was jacking up the shearing shed, you know. He does these great tasks on properties that he goes to, and the cows were all bellowing, and I said, what's wrong with those cows, John? He said, they're separated from their calves. He said, go down there and undo the gate and let them through to their calves. I thought, oh, well, I can do something here, you know. I mightn't have been brought up on the property, but I can do that.
I was just sort of watching casually, and the cows knew what she was going to do, so they wandered on up. She said they thundered up, but anyway, they wandered on up.
I walked down and the cows knew that I was going down to open the gate, and they all thundered down, 19 big black cows, they all thundered after me. And Jenny had put a new lock on the gate and I couldn't work it out, especially with the cows coming behind me.
By this point, she's in panic mode and not sure whether cows are going to eat her or what they're going to do. And so I went up to help out, as I remember at that point in time, and made a comment that the gate was designed for cows, not for people to not be able to get through, because she couldn't undo the latch. And I was frowned upon pretty heavily about that.
I said, John, how do you open this gate? No, you know, and he had to come down and open. He said, that's designed for the cows. A cow knows how that's open. I said, you're not casting aspersions at my intelligence, are you? So I marched on, so I'm not talking to him for the rest of the day. But anyway, they're the sorts of things that happen.
I think ultimately the cows got through to the calves and everything was all right. And I think she spoke to me a few days later. Yeah.
My perfect day is waking up in the tent with John and looking out into the bush or over a creek or a river, and just getting up and having a nice quiet breakfast and being in the open and being free.
I think we're perfectly suited to each other, and I think we complement each other. I can't see anything but a great future together. You know, that's it, the be all and end all for me, and I couldn't be happier, and I hope she's the same.